Okay, I'm Mike Willis with USA Wrestling. Today I'm joined by Chandler Rogers, Little Rock's newest assistant coach. Chandler, how are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Just enjoying Little Rock and getting situated.
Yeah, congrats on the new gig. It looks like you're already kind of making your office your home. You got some Oklahoma State gear in there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's pretty fun. I've never had my own office, so this is kind of cool.
hey, that's a big step up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so can you talk to us a little bit about what led you to Little Rock?
What's that?
Can you talk a little bit about what led you to Little Rock?
Yeah. I've always had like big dreams of being a coach, and I thought about like going to colleges that had already been like have had a history and have been created and have strong foundation. And, it's a very rare opportunity to be a part of a program that is brand new, built from the ground up, and learning the ins and outs of building a program from scratch. And so that was one of the things that really drew me to Little Rock. Is I was thinking, Northwest, it's got Oregon State, but that's about it. Growing up in Washington, we had kids in high school had no plans on going to college in wrestling other than Boise State and Oregon. And now that Boise's gone, I mean, it's really just Oregon State now. And so looking at this opportunity to learn how to build something from the ground up, if one day I do want to start my own program, it'd be good to have this kind of knowledge to do something like that in the future. But that's leaps and bounds from now. But it's just kind of some information that you can put in your back pocket. But that was one of the things that kind of drew me to this program. But really, the thing that really drew me to the program was Coach Ersman. He was my high school coach for my senior year in Stillwater. But we've developed a friendship for a while, and he's a smart guy. He loves the Lord, which is real important to me, and I think that he's a great mentor. He's a great teacher, and he hired Javi Maldonado, and he's an awesome dude as well with the same core values, and it's just really cool to watch. Like before I committed to come here, I got to see them kind of like work together and how they communicated, and it's just a very team oriented coaching staff, and I felt like I would fit in real well with them as well. And they were telling me that they needed somebody to be the fun guy and be fun and play around with the guys. And so I think they like that I'm young and I have this really outgoing personality that I can kind of mess around with the guys, give them crap, and just create a good environment.
Yeah. So, under normal circumstances, a new job and a move halfway across the country is, big deal, a lot of moving parts. And I'm sure that with the COVID-19 global pandemic that threw some even more wrinkles into it. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like and moving from Colorado Springs to Arkansas?
Yeah, when COVID hit, it it my wife lost her job to COVID, and she was a server at a restaurant, and she their restaurant just full on shut down, and she lost her job, and so we couldn't afford to pay rent or anything like that, and so we had to get the heck out of Colorado and find a way to survive, and so we actually went back to Stillwater, and we lived with her parents from March until July. And the good thing is that being in a house with your in-laws, everybody thinks that's a really bad experience, but I'm very blessed to have awesome in-laws who love me a lot, treat me like their own. And so it was really fun to be able to hang out with them for a few months. And they got 80 acres of hunting and fishing and whatever you want to do. And so it was a good quarantine for me. I got pretty spoiled. but so yeah, we kind of camped out there, and so that wasn't too bad. But really, just the hectic part was trying to get out of Colorado. We actually got out the day that they shut down the highways and didn't allow people in or out. Like, well, they were allowing people in and out, but they were being kind of strict about it. So it was kind of got out in the nick of time, and so, but yeah, we moving here was not too bad. We had a little struggle getting into our apartment, but we found a new place, and it's awesome, and it feels like home already, and works. My wife and I both said that this could be a place we could stay for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, you've been someone that's really lived all over the country at this point. You know, Washington, Oklahoma, Colorado, now Arkansas. Had you been to Arkansas before you took the job? Did you know anything about it or the area?
You know, my dad, he passed away 4 years ago, but one of his favorite things, one of the things that he did with us was he actually took us to Arkansas when we lived in Oklahoma, and we went camping here, and he was telling us all those things about Arkansas and how it's a hidden gem and how it's really like it's very underrated as a state, and so that really that was my first visit here, and then I came and visited again to check out the facilities and check out everything else before while I was in Colorado Springs, and so I did get to see it a few times, and it's something that my wife and I got really excited about.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like it's a really good fit then.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos, man. That's great news.
I tell everybody that because I live in Spokane, Washington, and I've lived in Oklahoma, I tell everybody it's like if Spokane and Stillwater had a baby, it'd be Little Rock. And it's kind of the perfect combo of outdoorsy, adventurous stuff and having that Southern hospitality as well. And so it's a little patch of heaven out here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you're getting the best of both worlds. Well, that's awesome. Since arriving in town, have you got to meet any of the wrestlers yet, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so all the guys moved in last week on Monday, and I got to help them move in, and we got to have a team meeting, and I'm still trying to learn all their names. There's a bunch of them, and it's kind of hard, but I know that with time and with more content, like more times together and as a team and doing team activities and trying to get workouts in, I'll get to know their names. But they're, from what I've seen, being around them, they're a solid group of guys. I think we recruited guys who will fit the program, and we fit them as well. And so we got a great crew out here already.
Yeah. So when you were in Colorado, you were with the Air Force Academy, serving as director of operations. So you've got experience, being on a college coaching staff. I guess, and obviously you haven't been in this role very long, but I would assume that you kind of understand what your responsibilities and your duties as the assistant coach are, and you've been on enough teams. What are like the biggest difference between a director of operations and an assistant coach?
Director of ops is kind of, I feel like, is more of the, I'm trying to think. I kind of felt like I was used as I don't know, I'm trying to think. It's kind of hard to explain because, the director of ops and the assistant coach, they kind of work hand in hand, they kind of work together. But I think the coach, like being an assistant coach, you do more recruiting and you do more, or you do you do the recruiting. Director of ops can't really do recruiting, but director of ops, I mean, they just kind of, it's kind of in the name. They keep everything rolling, they keep everything situated. And when I was at Air Force, I was director of ops, but by the time I got there, they had already gotten everything planned out because they're Air Force and they're just on top of stuff, getting it done. And they have a schedule and they're everything's kind of in place already. And so my job really was just to kind of shadow the coaches and just see what they do and see how they interact with the athletes and how they do that stuff. And so that was really I kind of was more of a volunteer assistant at that point, but I took the title of director of ops because I did get to learn some things, some logistics and things behind the scenes as well.
What are you looking forward to most about coaching?
I think for me, I look forward to helping athletes break past their comfort zone. I think that a lot of athletes come from high school to college and they try to stay comfortable. I know I did. I try to stay comfortable and try and not push myself too much because I didn't want to go that hard, and I was kind of scared. I was scared to be, honestly, to be the guy. I was kind of scared to be the guy. I wanted to be the guy, but there's a lot that comes with that, and so working through that, and then on top of that as well is just performance anxiety. Helping athletes with that. I took a lot of psychology classes in college and some coaching classes and learning positive and negative reinforcement, like trying to read athletes of how they respond the best and just kind of getting the best out of them as best as possible. But really, I think one of the most important things that I've learned as a coach is don't treat them like a child, treat them like a man. And I think I feel like I've been getting a great response out of that, where I'm not treating them like they're a child or they're an 18-year-old kid, even though they are an 18-year-old kid. You got to kind of treat them like a man if you want them to be a man. And so that's kind of been something I learned from Neil, Javi. I actually talked to Pat Smith about it. Pat Smith's out here, and he was giving me some great advice on coaching. And so, yeah, it's an exciting. I know, like there's a statistic that said like the most important person or most important figure in an athlete's life is the coach, not the parents. Like they listen to their stinking coach, and so I'm excited to be that for a lot of guys. It's just to be somebody that they can talk to and that they can depend on to be there for them if they need anything, give them good advice, and just kind of seek a little bit of counseling from somebody like me as well.
So over the years, you've had your fair share of pretty good, pretty credentialed coaches. John Smith would be the first one that pops into everybody's head. But
yeah,
Erzman, everybody else in the Oklahoma State room, Esposito, Sam Barber. I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but what, have you learned from those coaches that you would also like to bring into the room, or that you'd also like to kind of incorporate into your building your coaching philosophy?
From Coach Smith, I would have learned, I think what Coach does a great job of is showing you what hard work, there's a difference between hard work and insanity. There's a point between I'm going to break him down so that he learns to fight back, or I'm just going to break him down. Like he understands that balance of, all right, how far is, like, there's a point where it goes too far. And so he really kind of gets you going and gets you tough and takes you through the grinder. And I think that's something I really learned from Coach. And another thing as well is he always talked about if you shoot for perfection, you'll achieve excellence. And because nobody's perfect, but you can, if you should go for something that is almost impossible, you'll get pretty dang close and you'll be set. And so I've kind of taken that to everything that I do, wrestling, faith, family, and coaching, everything. And so it's he taught me a lot of things that could apply to both wrestling and in life. And so that was really good. And then from Coach Barber, I learned that creating a positive atmosphere for guys allows them to be comfortable and vulnerable and able to learn. I think being positive allows guys to be malleable and change and to have an open mind to things that you say. I came into Air Force and I was hot off the frying pan, and I was going crazy and getting in guys' faces. And, I learned real quickly that guys sometimes don't respond to that. And sometimes guys need a guy to come along and say, look, you're struggling, and I want to see you like keep going. I want to be on your back. I want to be that hand on your back that keeps pushing you and be there with you, instead of just kind of barking orders and yelling at them. And so I kind of had a confusing state where I was like, what is it? Are you mad at the guy? Like, what are you trying to be? And so creating a positive atmosphere was definitely something I learned from Coach Barber. He had a great balance of dropping the hammer and then also being the helping hand and kind of being on it, like never really coming down on like and never attacking their integrity, and just only trying to correct them and make them into better men. And so that's really kind of what I've learned from Coach Smith and Coach Barber. And so I'm excited to learn some things from Neil being here and just kind of learn some of his philosophies as well.
Thanks for sharing, Chandler. So switch gears a little bit. I do want to talk about your competitive career, because as of right now, you're qualified for the Olympic team trials at 87 kilogram in Greco-Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was by virtue of placing third at the Bill Farrell. You're the highest placing American in the bracket.
Yep.
Sixth at senior nationals in December, a little bit before the world went crazy with all the COVID. What is that? Is that on your radar right now?
Yeah, it's on my radar for sure. I'm gonna take my time and think about it a little bit. I've had some injuries, and I just kind of want to tend to them right now and get them recuperated and make sure my body's full and ready to go. There's some injuries that they're injuries that are kind of risky to mess around with, and so I don't want to risk the rest of my life, or not my life. I mean, I'm going to be fine that way, but I don't want to have long-term damage for something to strive for something that's short-term. And so it's just kind of weighing the pros and cons of taking that risk. But for right now, I'm just letting my body heal and get ready. And it's nice to have that option to go and wrestle and compete and try to make the Olympic team. But yeah, it's just kind of up in the air right now. I know it sounds kind of stupid to most people. It's like he's got the opportunity to make an Olympic team. Why wouldn't he take it? Well, there's a lot more important things in wrestling, but I do want to compete, and I just don't know if that's in Greco right now or maybe in freestyle. So we'll see.
So you're not ruling out a return to freestyle in the future just yet?
No, I definitely think I want to come back to freestyle at some point. I'm not ready to hang my shoes up yet in that arena.
You went into Greco, and obviously you've had a lot of age group experience. But you went into Greco and immediately started making waves on the senior level. How were you able to adjust so quickly, and especially straight from folk style to Greco, and start placing at senior events?
I think I brought something to the table that Greco hasn't seen in a while. It was kind of that freestyle Greco mashup where I almost wrestled like a freestyler, but in Greco. Most guys like to stand upright and just kind of get in the pummel and start hand fighting and get the push outs. And I tried to move and scramble and get guys into a scramble in Greco. And so I think I brought a different look that guys haven't seen. And so I don't know, I could be saying something I don't really know what I'm talking about, but that's kind of what I thought. I thought that maybe I was doing something that we haven't seen in a while, and so that's kind of my thought about it. But it worked out for me though. I think my funky kind of unorthodox style is a little intimidating to wrestle. And like I said, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but that's kind of what I've been told. And I don't want to be arrogant, but I think that being unorthodox is kind of a unusual style to wrestle against. It's kind of hard to scout. And so, yeah.
Well, at the Farrell, you picked up 3 pins, and 2 of them were via assassin. Did you think that was going to be a move? Because, I mean, obviously that was kind of one of your signature moves in folk style. Did you think that was going to be a move that translated over to Greco?
I just knew when you like really start finding a move that works for you, you got to figure out a way to keep on improving upon it. If John Smith, his low single, if he would have just stuck to a straight on low single and never went off of like a misdirection or bringing the hand down to it or like all these different variations, the move would have stopped a lot sooner than it was. And so because John kept on metamorphosizing the move and making it better and making it to where it's accessible from multiple alleys, it became a great move. And Ben Askren, he hit the assassin all the time as well, and the reason why it became a great move was because of him. And then like I feel like for me, the assassin was something that like kind of was the torch being passed to me to just kind of keep the move going and trying to make it better and make it my own, but yeah, I definitely thought it would translate.
Yeah, any style, you're one of the more fun guys to watch because you can hit that thing from anywhere, and it's pretty crazy to see it. Do you think you have, I know you say it's up in the air, but do you think you have a timeline of when you might make the decision? Like, do you have a date where you're like, all right, if I'm doing it, I need to start training by X day, or is it just taking it one step at a time at the moment?
I'm still training. I'm still like I want to stay in good shape and stay competitive and stay in that realm, but not doing too much to where I'm hurting my back anymore than it's already hurt. And so I just try and I'm probably not going to have a date for you. It's really going to be something that I'm just going to have to decide on my own when the timing's right and when the stars align. I'll make my decision.
When you signed on with Little Rock, did you discuss with the coaching staff your aspirations of competing or the possibility of you still competing?
Yeah. I came on as a coach and as an athlete as well. I expect to win. Like they expect me to win if I'm going to train or if I'm going to wrestle here, and they expect me to win if I'm going to coach here. And so the expectations are high. It's not just because it's a brand new program does not mean that we don't expect to win. We expect that of our guys as well. But yeah, so if I'm going to come here and I'm going to compete and I'm going to represent Little Rock Wrestling, I better expect to win and to be on the top. And I felt like coming here, I could still do that if I want to.
Yeah. So 87 kilograms, a lot higher than 165 pounds, which you wrestled for most of college. 5 kilograms higher than 82 kilograms, which you were having some success at before, the Olympic year and the weight classes shrunk. What is that weight like for you? Do you like it up there? I'm assuming it's not too bad of a cut if it is one.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad cut. But my body's kind of just grown since college. I've put on muscle and I put on I've kind of just thickened up a little bit and gotten pretty dense. But yeah, I've adjusted to that weight and it's a good weight for me, I think. And if I were to go freestyle, I think I'd go 86 kilos. I think that'd also be a good. Is it 86 kilos? Yeah.
86, yeah.
I would go 86 kilos because it's a good weight for me as well. It's just a little lower than 87 kilo, and so that'd be a good weight for me in freestyle as well. I think I could compete at that level, but yeah.
So over the course of the next year, what do you think are some goals that you have for yourself in your new role and the program in general?
It's kind of hard to have goals as a coach. You always want to set your goals. You got to rely on 18 to 21-year-old guys to fulfill your goals. And so it's kind of scary making goals, but my goal is to put guys on the podium, to put guys where they need to be, and to enlighten them that they're not as far behind as they might think they are, and to let everybody else know that we're not as far behind as they think we are. And I think that this year I want to make sure that our team makes a big splash in the NCAA, in the Division I level, and I'm going to do everything short of sin to make sure we get there.
Awesome. Hey, Chandler, well, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with you and what's going to happen with Little Rock, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.